Hey everybody, Angela and I are here on set taping the 3900 series of Love of Quilting, very exciting.
Yep.
And you had a little bonus content to share with us.
Yeah, so last season, I brought Moonlight Mermaid here, and I love that quilt. And this is the main block for Moonlight Mermaid. And it has these 3-inch petals, and there are 12 of these per block.
Right.
Sarah, there are 216 of those little guys in my quilt. And it's lovely, but I didn't want to have to do each of those like with a template and trace around the template and then cut it out individually out of fabric. I didn't want to do any of that. So I have a creative icon at home, and I saw this giant hoop, and I thought, hey, I bet I can use that massive hoop to stitch out all of my petals in one go.
Right. Instead of the traditional sewing that petal, stitching and flipping, you packed them all into the embroidery hoop and got it done in a jiffy.
Said, let's go, let's go.
I like it.
Okay, so I want to show you how I brought the pattern in because it's pretty cool. So, so here's the printout of the pattern. And these are the shapes. So this is that leaf shape. And of course, the way it's printed on the paper, it has these dashed lines for the stitching line. And with the computer, it'll read each of those as an individual motif.
Right.
So I just used a Sharpie and just went through and connected all of the dots.
Okay.
Okay, so then, Sarah, on my phone, then, I took a photo of the pattern.
And you've gone into a special app. Which app are you using for this?
Image Stitch.
Image Stitch, right.
Yeah, and it's a FOF app, and it's free in the App Store.
In the App Store, yeah.
And so I took a photo, and then of course it has, so if you look, it also has this cut line. Well, I don't need that. So what I did is I can just go through here and delete. So I'm just kind of brushing and erasing away what I don't need. And there's my leaf.
Okay.
Okay, so if I send it to the cloud, the little cloud button here, and then I can call it whatever I want. So we'll call it leaf. And then I'm going to save it to my sew net. So it goes up into the cloud.
Okay.
And then it comes down into my creative icon.
So you can create it at home, save it to the cloud. You don't have to worry about a USB stick or any way to transfer it. You just log right in here.
Right.
Nice.
And then I want to multiply it, right? Because that's a 3-inch leaf, and I have this massive hoop I want to take advantage of. And so I put 14 here in the hoop. I probably could have done 15 if I wasn't, so yeah. But I just wanted to make sure there was enough room on the outside to do it. And so then we've got it all loaded here. So I'm just going to hit go, and it'll start stitching out all of my leaves. And so for, to get 216 of these guys, it's going to take a few batches.
Right, you've got to do a few hoopings, but it's still so much faster.
So much faster.
More efficient.
Because then I could take this down to the TV and cut them all out individually.
That's right. So what do you have in the hoop here?
Oh, good question. Okay, so I have a fusible stabilizer.
A sew-in, right?
A sew-in, and it is right sides together. So, I used a solid fabric, so I don't have to worry about right side, wrong side. So, but if you're going to use a print, the right side goes against the fusible.
And that's kind of an unusual way of hooping for embroidery. Typically you've got right side up, but for this little trick, it's right side down.
Because once we cut them out, we're going to flip them inside out, so you want the fusible exposed. So we've got some of the larger ones.
Yep.
So these were the outside border. So these big guys here.
Right.
Okay, so when I got them out of the hoop, they were all like this, and you cut one out and just trimmed it around that outside edge.
Right.
And then put a little slit in it, and then fold this inside out or right side out, and now I'll have my fusible on the correct side.
And we talked in the body of the show last season about a load of different tools that you can use for flipping these right sides out.
Yeah, and I found that my favorite was a hemostat that I found in my sewing room. I have no idea how or why I have a hemostat, but I had a hemostat, and that worked out the best. And then like a chopstick or something to poke out the little points. But it just made it so much faster and easier, and I could do other things while it was working.
Just fuse it down and top stitch it.
Yeah.
So let's take a peek at what we've got so far. So just as we've been talking, you are on your 5th petal.
Yeah.
So fast, right?
Yeah. And so once it's all done, then I'll be able to cut that out and bring it over.
Bring it over. What a great tip. I'm so glad that you were able to share that with us this season.
Yeah.